Chapter 26, Episode 2. Once upon a time, there was a little girl that lived in a cardboard box under the railway track next to the sewage plant that was obviously by the river. There were many fish in the river, and Fransiskika ate many fish. She also collected herbs and berries and nuts. And most important to the story is that she didn't know what she didn't have. She knew about other people. She remembered her mother. She, Franny, tried to eat her when she died, but the meat was not like fish meat. So she mostly used her for bait and her fat for a fire and a candle. Franny had a vagina, of course, and like the rest of her, it was very pretty. She didn't stop to wonder about it, but there was a man that worked in the sewage recycling plant what had seen her fishing and swimming. He took note of various parts of her body as well as her overall beauty. So he robbed a rich king of just a small part of his fortune and bought a house and a club and hired a fairy to put a magic spell on the girl in the box. So it came to pass that the fairy did go down to the railway line and introduce herself to Franny. "Who are you?" "I'm La, your own personal fairy. I'm gonna make your dreams come true." "I hope not. I really don't want to turn into a fish and be eaten by a sewer rat." "Not that dream. The dream every girl has of meeting a prince and getting married." "I never dreamt that. I don't know what a prince is, or marriage." "A prince is rich, has great wealth, and lots of money." "Can you eat a prince?" "You have much to learn, little girl. You better come with me." Franny wasn't convinced, so the good fairy thought, fuck it, and tasered Franny and threw her in the back of a van and drove her to a warehouse where Franny was hosed down, received a pedicure, manicure, hair wash and trim, 63 days of television, newspapers, painkillers, magazines, shock therapy, and some really nice clothes. That's supposed to be a fairy tale. It ain't finished, isn't it? Franny either becomes a stripper in the club and or gets hooked up with the owner, who really does call himself Prince Perfect, thanks to plastic surgery and special lighting. Well, an asteroid could fall on China and Godzilla jumps out of his den and flies over and eats Prince Prick and takes Franny to a tropical island. She kisses him and he turns into a hot man thing, and they don't get married, but they do have some oral sex, build a nice little cabin, and grow some tomatoes. Okay, I hadn't thought of that. Billy was a little worried about Sally. She was trying to calm herself by writing fairy tales. She had found a book of fairy tales in a used bookstore. Instead of calming her at all, it made her more furious. "We could steal a car and crash it." Sally looked at Billy. He smiled and went back to his laptop. Sally read another fairy tale, got upset, and wrote her own. The Loneliest Monk. There was a time, my friends, when a boy had run away from his father. His mother was dead. She died giving birth to Angelo's little sister. She, the little sister, died when she was just a little girl. Father missed raping and beating mother, so Angelina was father's new toy to abuse. Angelina was too small for father, so she was ripped apart by his insatiable appetite. Is this a fairy tale? Yes, of course. I was serious about crashing a car. I think it might do you some good. Fuck off, Billy. This is the art of the classics. If you say so. No. Sally threw the book at Billy. The fairy tale collection. After a couple, he noticed how often heroes chopped up lovers, throwing them in the ocean so they could find a ring, and flying on big birds, maybe a big fucking lizard or two. Okay. Billy put up his hands. So, where were we? Angelina fucked to death by her sorry-ass, retarded alcoholic father. We are now left with Angelo. It was his job to skin and clean his sister to make salami and a big stew. Then it would be his turn to be raped by his father. His father was a stereotypical, hypocritical, Christian homophobic. Fucking stupid word. What did you call someone who hates assholes? Assholephobic? Angelo was sodophobic. He hated being dry fucked up the ass by a drunken asshole that was good for nothing and smelled bad and was loud and made him his money by stealing it from the church. So one night when Father was passed out drunk and Angelo had dried his tears after the pain in his ass stopped, "Sally, are you okay?" "What do you mean?" Sally looked up and saw Billy watching her. "I think I better go out and kill someone. That is still on hold till we see Daisy. We can crash a car, like when we were kids not so long ago. I'll be okay. We'll go for dinner when I'm done, if you want." "If you want." Billy just looked at her. It was about as contradictory as Sally ever got with Billy. An early warning signal. He decided to take a short walk. Even best friends needed their own space. On a journey it wasn't so easy to do. Sally noted Billy's shutdown and departure. Angelo killed his father. He took a big axe from the chopping block and chopped a big hole in the back of Father's head. Then he took a bath, put on his cleanest clothes, and started his journey over the mountain to the lonely monastery far away from everywhere. And he stayed there in his own room and no one raped him ever again. One more. Sally looked around to see if Billy was to be seen. He would be at his new friend's place drinking a tea. The owner of the open at request little cafe loved to speak English. The goat fucker. There was a young man who lived up on a hill. He had 12 goats. He milked the goats every morning, then took them for a walk through the woods to a beautiful pasture. There he smoked his pipe and watched the goats. One day he got really horny and said to a goat, "Why can't you turn into a beautiful girl so I can fuck you?" The goat smiled and said, "If you are man enough to fuck me, I will be your beautiful girl." The young man wasn't quite sure, but figured he'd give it a go. Can you spare us the details?" Sally looked up to see that Billy had come back. She judged by the sun that he had been gone for a while. She must have got lost in a daydream. She was happy to see him and smiled. "Sit beside me, my friend." Billy had to laugh. When he sat down, Sally gave him her golden smile that even when she was in her original cladding was her power over him. "I'm learning to let my anger out in a story. I think it will calm me. Knowing and acting are the way to go." Sally gave the friendly evil eye and continued writing. Then finally he rammed his man thing into the she-goat's baby-making hole and fucked the goat till he came. The goat didn't. The goat went back to the other goats. She turned into a wolf because she was under a magic spell that could only be ended if a virgin fucked her, and the man had been that until he fucked a wolf that had been turned into a goat. And he had fallen asleep and didn't notice that the wolf he fucked grabbed a goat, took it into the woods, fucked it, killed it, ate it, and married a dragon. Billy laughed. That made Sally laugh. She said she was itching to kill someone. But she still was itching to kill someone. "I am seriously thinking of writing a book of fairy tales, Billy. I am sure it will be a hit. I'm not hungry. You write and I'll be happy to sit in your presence." Ruler of the world. A little girl woke up one day and looked into a bucket of water and saw that she was beautiful. She felt her breasts and noticed they were rather large, firm, and quite round. She felt her ass and was also pleased with that. So she went into the woods and found the magic goat and said to the magic goat, "I want to rule the world. What must I do?" The goat said, "Oh, that's easy. Marry the king of the world, then kill him on your wedding night, sacrifice 3 chickens, a ram, and his 4 children. Burn them all and tell the people that the Lord had commanded you and blessed you." So she did. There was a big wedding. After she killed the king, she had sex with his 4 sons and killed them too. She burned them all with the 3 chickens and a ram. Then it rained for 3 days and she was with child, and she told the people that she was ruler over all and the Lord had given her a child. She sold the child to a slave trader. The child became big and strong and returned to the palace and killed his mother. He had 12 wives and 473 concubines. Sweet. One more. Okay, I'm fine watching you. Sally had a quick look at her cleavage. She knew Billy paid close attention to her body parts, like he had special dedicated radar. She looked at him and he smiled. No denial. There was a beautiful little girl, the most beautiful in all the land. Her eyes shone like the sun itself. Her skin was firm and soft and smooth. Her legs were long and strong. And her tits, well, she was not that old yet. She loved Jesus, Joseph, and Maria with all her heart. So her mother cut off her arms. Plagiarism. Billy had just read that short story in its original. Okay, her legs. Her legs so that she couldn't go to church on Sunday because her mom fucked the devil and the devil didn't like her children going to church and said to cut off the beautiful legs and make her eat them. The little girl loved Jesus so much that she went to church by dragging herself over the glen, through the woods, over the river in a birch bark canoe, 3.7 miles down a gravel road and up the steps to her favorite church. Well, the devil found out, so told her mother to cut off her arms, so of course she did. Any mother would, as long as she was properly fucked. The beautiful girl still loved Jesus because Jesus was her protector and her salvation. One Sunday, as she was rolling to church to praise Jesus for all her blessings, the director of the Bank of the Planet Earth saw her and said, "She's got great tits." So they got married. Her babies had babies and lived a happy life. Billy looked up and smiled. "Are you hungry yet?"